markers. I'm sure you all have heard me talk about markers before. I have a whole video about it. I think it was the second video I ever made. It was on markers and a marker system. Actually, I don't know if it's on the marker system. I think it was just on markers in general. But I wanted to show you guys a marker system in action, because I feel like the term marker in and of itself is kind of foreign to a lot of people, or they don't have a very clear picture as to what that actually is, and let alone create a system around markers. Like, what does that even mean? So I figured it'd just be easiest to show you and kind of explain it as I go along. I'm just going to do a various obedience stuff with Nova and kind of explain it as I go along to kind of enlighten you a little bit and kind of give you a better picture as to what all that means. So I've got 3 reward objects on me because I'm going to use 3 different markers that each mean something slightly different. Nova is conditioned to all 3 of them. I've already conditioned her to it, and she has for years now. So the conditioning process of teaching the dogs this is different, and actually in that second video I believe I went through that process, and maybe a third one and a different one. But anyway, so I've got 3 reward objects on me: a squeaky ball that used to squeak, food, and a tug toy. I'm going to use 3 different markers, each meaning or telling Nova that she can go to one of those 3. More precisely, she's going to be able to go to one, the other one's going to be on me, and she's going to interact with me, and the other one I'm going to give to her in position. I'll show you here in a second. So start off with a squeaky ball. I'm going to put it out in the environment, and when I want her to go to it, I'm going to say, get it. Get it is her remote marker, where she's allowed to go get the reward object that's out in the environment somewhere. Oh, she's making a squeak now. Nova, out. Sit. If I want her to interact with me and not that object, then I'll say, yes. She'll turn to me and we'll play. I like to do this with the tug toy. Out, down, yes. You can tell she's thinking about that ball over there, but because I gave her the YES, not the GETIT, she interacted with me instead. Out, get it. Good girl. Out, down. And the last one is telling her that I'm going to take the reward to her. I like to use food reward. You can use toys just fine with it though, but I'm going to use food reward here just to kind of add some more variety to it. And for me, that is good. 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 Yes. Out. Okay. Good. Get it. What a marker system does, and why I like it so much, is it forces the dog to really pay attention to you in order to access the right reward. So it kind of brings that engagement, that focus, that attention up a whole nother level. And just something to add in there, anybody that deals with bite dogs, you can have a 4th marker, meaning go bite that guy. So you can have a guy in a bite sleeve or a bite suit or whatever, and that could be a 4th marker, and that's going to be your bite command. So imagine the same sort of setup, but now you got a guy in a bite suit, and the dog has to listen to you in order to access the right reward. And if they try to access the wrong reward, you just shut everything down and you reset them. That's a whole nother can of worms, and that's a much longer video. But just to give you an idea as to how all this works. So let me just go through some obedience stuff with Nova, and you can see all this in action. Nova, stay. And in between reps, you can play with them. And that's what I really recommend, is that you always keep the interaction between you and the dog. Don't really let the dog enjoy the toy by themselves too much. I mean, you can to a certain degree. There's a time and a place for that, but I like to keep the interaction between me and the dog really high. Out. Okay. Hopefully you can see how a marker system essentially creates a language between me and Nova, and I'm able to communicate with her very clearly. And communication is key when it comes to dog training. It's actually everything. How well can you communicate what you want to communicate to the dog? And how easy is it for them to understand it? How well do they understand it? That's a huge portion, if not all, of dog training, really.